Hi, guys, and welcome to the seventh episode of Chef Tales with Sarah. Um, Today, I'm very excited to have somebody very special, very sweet, very beautiful on the show, and somebody who makes a lot of us proud. I'm very happy also because she's so much younger than I am and she's achieved so much more. I think she was one of the first few people who actually brought the concept of fondant cakes and specialty cakes in Pakistan. She started her culinary career in Pakistan at the age of 15 when a lot of us were just still playing with dolls. um, she seemed to have been very focused all through her teenage years. She started her catering services, she started her specialty cake services, she started hosting cookery shows on TV. Hi, hello everybody. Hi to everybody who's joining in. I'm just giving the introduction for our guest for today. She started hosting cookery shows on TV. She was doing so much all together. And I personally feel there was a very strong woman behind all of this as well. Knowing where she was coming from, I could tell how. Thank you, Muneeze. So, knowing where she was coming from, I could always tell, how she got where she is. But I'd rather like to hear it from her side of the story this time. She actually, at the age of 19, won the Youngest Chef of the Year award by the Association of the Chef Societies and Chefs Society of Pakistan. And in 2019, she also won another important award, a big one, Foodpreneur of the Year by the Governor Punjab and Women's Chamber of Commerce. So not only this, she also launched at the age of 23 her very own culinary institute, a culinary school that she heads. And oh my god, I'm already feeling proud of everything she's mashallah achieved, and like I said, making a lot of us proud. She's also, once she was married, her husband opened up a restaurant by the name of Bagh in Lahore, Pakistan, and she curated more than 15 recipes for the restaurant as well. So yes, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of amazing stuff that I'd like to learn about her and you'd like to learn about her. So let's add the amazing guest for today, Muneeze Khalid. Hi, Muneeze.
Hi, Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm feeling super overwhelmed after your amazing introduction, which I don't
No,
know if
I
I
think
deserve.
words fall short when we try to sum up everything you've been doing since you were a baby. You were a baby for me when you started this. And mashallah, mashallah, you've achieved so much. So I was very excited to have you here today.
No, no, I'm so happy to be here, and I love your page, and you're doing such an amazing job. And just generally, I love people who share the same passion for cooking. So I think we just have a connection that way.
Of course we do. Acha, tell me, Muneeze, everybody here, I'm sure they want to know how you got into this field, when you got into it, and who motivated you. What was your inspiration? Were there any struggles? So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I started professionally at the age of 15. That's when I started taking orders. I was in grade 8 at the time.
Wow!
So, cooking for me actually started at a much younger age. My first memory of being in the kitchen is my dad holding me up. He's an excellent cook himself, so he would be holding me up, and I would be mixing the spoon in the dechki,
Cute!
and that is And that's why I feel like that's where my love for food began. And then after that, I remember this one specific memory that I have is my mom had called a couple of her friends over, and I was always doing something or the other in the kitchen. So she said, "Chalo apna shop pura kar lo, kuch cupcakes bana do." And I must have been about eight years old at that time. And remember this so specifically because that was the first time I made cupcakes without using a Betty Crocker mix.
Aww.
And I remember that her friends were so appreciative, and they praised the cupcakes so much that I don't know, just there was just something that went on inside me, and I knew that whenever I would grow up, this is what I would be doing. And when I would come back home from school, rather than watching Cartoon Network, my parents would always tell me कि ये BBC Food लगा देती है और ये Nigella Lawson को बस पूरा दिन ऐसा करके देखती है. And that's something that I would really enjoy doing. And I think just Sarah, if you have a really supportive family and you have supporting people who are supportive around you, your friends, your family, it makes the biggest difference. And so I know that सबसे पहले, of course, this none of this whatever little that I have achieved would have been possible without the help of Allah, and that is something that I strongly believe. And after that, my parents, and then after that, my friends and all of that. But I genuinely feel that if my faith wasn't as strong, maybe I might not have been able to achieve so much. So this is something that I do strongly believe, because I've always felt that there's like this helping hand whenever I am struggling, that just pushes me and helps me succeed. And it's also partly my mother, who was the pioneer in event management in Pakistan.
And I think she was such a strong woman, doing so much at the time when we never really saw women at the front at that time. I have not seen professional women out there, and she had already made a big name at that time.
Absolutely. And Sarah, the thing is that even for her, she would always say that, she would have a team of like 300 men that she was instructing. So one woman having to do all of that was no joke.
Exactly.
So I saw that doing all of that while battling cancer. So, parallel to this, there was another dark side of the story that she was battling as well. So when I saw her just plaster a great smile on her face and get to work and just focus, I think that growing up, seeing that is what really helped, push me and make me strong as far as my work is concerned. So I started at the age of 15. I'm sorry, I'm diverting. I'm very talkative.
No. This gives us a better perspective of how and where you got that strength from. And just for a moment, if I stop you here, I think I can really relate to that, because my mother did the exact same thing. She was also battling cancer, and then she made sure, and since the first day she said, nahi, I will get fine. And she did not let it bother her. She did not let her pull her down. She just constantly kept working. She's she designs clothes and she does exhibitions, and she continued to do that. So when I saw her doing that, I think the sort of impact it has on daughters when you see your mothers doing so much. I think I can completely relate to this. So now I can tell that from such an early age, how were you so focused and so smart?
Sarah, बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. It makes the biggest difference when you have someone you can really, it's a very cliched thing to say that your mother is your role model. But I genuinely believe it wholeheartedly. For me, no chef, no superstar, no celebrity comes close to the type of personality that my mom had for me. So that's one thing that I feel, that she was such a guiding force behind everything. And then also, I also felt like I had to prove it to her that, if she is battling such a serious disease, but at the same time, she is doing her work and she's coming through on all her commitments, then, I can't complain about a silly headache, and I
Exactly.
can't complain that, oh, I'm in the mood or anything like that. So I do feel like it basically helps
She set the
children.
pace.
Yes, and you get a good work ethic this way as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So when I started my career, it is a very funny story. I got my one of my family friends knew that I enjoyed making cakes, and whenever I would travel in the summer vacations with my family, rather than spending my money on clothes and like things that children would buy, I would just spend that entire pocket money. मुझे याद है 200 pounds मुझे मिलते थे, और 200 pounds पहले या दूसरे दिन में खत्म हो जाते थे जेन एशर की दुकान के अंदर, जहाँ पे मैं बेकिंग की अननेसेसरी चीजें, जो अब मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को कहती हूँ आपको बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है लेने
जरूरत
की।
नहीं है।
तो वो मैं सब चीजें इकट्ठी करके ले
मेरे को
आती थी
इतनी
उसका।
fascinate करती हैं देख के, because you
हाँ,
haven't seen any of that in Pakistan ना, so you
बिल्कुल।
overbuy.
और फिर वो उसका वजन ही उतना हो जाता है कि वो फिर वो पॉकेट, जो आपको पॉकेट मनी मिलती है, उससे डबल उसका खर्चा आ जाता है। तो आई रिमेम्बर माई मदर यूज्ड टू से टू मी कि तुम ठीक हो, तुम पागल तो नहीं हो कि तुम ये सब कुछ इकट्ठा कर रही हो। एंड बट वन थिंग आई वुड स्टिल से इज दैट इवन एट दैट पॉइंट, रादर देन स्कोल्डिंग मी एंड सेइंग कि नहीं तुमने ये नहीं खरीदना, तो शी वुड से कि ठीक है, but I'm not going to give you more money after this, but if you want to spend it like this, go ahead. And I would be so satisfied that, okay, so this is what I've gotten, I can't wait to go back home and try it out. And I remember, and after that trip, when I came back, my friends and family knew that ghar pe main cakes bana rahi hu. And at that time, no one was doing fondant cakes in Lahore.
Yeah.
And I remember that I had gotten this book, Jane Asher ki hi, and one of my family friends, she was having a baby shower, and her sister requested कि okay, you make the cake. And मैंने उस book से copy करके वो एक baby shaped cake, I'll send you the picture, like a baby shaped cake wearing a diaper. I made that cake, and everyone who came to the baby shower just was so in awe कि अच्छा ये cakes भी ऐसे बन जाते हैं शक्लों वाले, because उस वक्त पे आपको पता है cream cakes होते थे या वो जो
Exactly.
icing वाले cakes. तो उसके बाद वहां से फिर मुझे अपना पहला order मिला. So, in this time, for me at the age of 15, getting a couple of ₹1,000 for an order was like getting
A big
millions.
deal.
Yeah.
And the confidence, imagine. I mean, an 8th grader being an entrepreneur, it's amazing. जो
It was,
confidence boost मिलता होगा उस time पे.
बिल्कुल. और फिर एक, when you're passionate about something, then but my parents would just say that, but your school should not suffer, your grades
Yeah.
should not be suffering. And I was not the best student at all in school, and I hated doing Rakta and studying. But love, this is what I would love. मैं घर आती थी, BBC फूड लगाती थी, किचन में चली जाती थी, and इसी तरह फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जब काम शुरू हुआ और एक ऑर्डर से दूसरा ऑर्डर हुआ, एंड देन अल्लाह का बहुत शुक्र है कि बस वो बढ़ता गया.
Mashallah. So, tell me, Muneeze, like, so from you started off with the cake, specialty cake start way. Then how did it branch out into catering, and then doing more, and the cookery shows came in, and the awards came in, and the school came in, and the restaurant came in. So, like, take us through a journey of what followed.
Okay, so pehle to lots of my students have signed in, so I just want to say hello to everyone and thank you so
And
much
everybody's
for
praising you. Everybody's saying she's the sweetest. I got so many messages saying, oh, she's the sweetest ever. She's the best teacher. So, mashallah, you have such a good fan following.
No, I'm very lucky. I have amazing students who are so loving and I enjoy teaching them so much. And this quarantine period has helped me introduce my online classes, which have been a great, which have given my students have given me a really great response. And the way that we're doing our online classes is very different. We're not doing it like phone ke through hum nahi karte. The proper studio with studio lights and a live camera of different angles, all of that. and trying to improve it day by day. And my students keep me in check as well. They tell me if they feel like something is not working, and I work around them. So it's been an amazing learning experience, and it's been so amazing connecting with so many people from different parts of the world. We have students from Africa, we have students from
Oh,
Oslo,
wow.
we have students from Australia, so many. And now, right now, I can also see Zuria is my student for so many years from Islamabad. So,
I think this is the
I
best part about online learning. You can get like, so much more exposure. You have people from all over the world. Nahi to you can only have the people coming jahan par,
बिल्कुल
if you're based in Lahore, so
बिल्कुल
only Lahore students can come. So this, I think, really fulfilled a lot of people's dreams there, who were,
बिल्कुल नहीं
out of Pakistan or out of Lahore.
नहीं बहुत मतलब बड़ा मजा आ रहा है मुझे ये ऑनलाइन क्लासेस करके. अब इंशाल्लाह इसको मैं कंटिन्यू करूंगी, बिकॉज अब मुझे एक चस्का लग गया मुझे कि अब इसमें ऑनलाइन
Definitely.
और फिर जिस तरह I was discussing with you, the best thing about online classes is that I just have to change into a nice shirt. Niche I'm wearing my night suit pajama, and I don't need to worry about anything because my
And we
students
have all
can't sleep for
adapted to this lifestyle so well कि अब लगता है वापस नहीं जा सकते.
बड़ा मुश्किल होगा पर बिल्कुल. तो तैयार होने की अब आदत भी उस तरह नहीं रही.
नहीं.
But Sarah, as you asked, as far as how I progressed from taking cake orders to catering, was again with my mom's help for sure. She told me that तुम खाना भी इतना अच्छा बनाती हो तो तुम अपना एक मेन्यू क्यों नहीं बना लेती खाने का. And at that time, a friend of now she's a friend of mine, but I got in touch with Yasmin Shafiq from Pink Pistachio now. And at that time, she used to design, have a printing business. So she designed my logo, my cards, everything. So I went to her. She did all those fancy
And
boxes
those I
again.
remember as well were the most cutest pink and black cards back in the days, because तब इतना नहीं होता ही नहीं था ना इस तरह की branding. So cute, and the fact that you never changed it, and you people still you can I can still connect it to the first time I ordered the cake. So वो ना बड़े मजे की उसकी एक feel है उस तरह से.
Yeah. So it's something that is so deeply connected to me that I don't think that I will ever be able to make it obsolete at my studio, and there will always be like that original dabba, and that's something that I feel like my oldest clients as well can relate to this so much, because सबसे पहले वो जो boxes आए थे वो अभी तक वही design मेरे cupcakes के लिए use होता है. And again at that time as well, cupcakes का भी उस तरह का concept नहीं था कि buttercream and buttercream cupcakes and like the magnolia style cupcakes or the hummingbird style cupcakes, उसका उतना concept नहीं था. And that's something I used to get the most orders for, because having just like really delicious moist cupcakes is something that I think everyone enjoys. So from there, as I said, that I just curated a small menu जिसके अंदर were my standard staple dishes that everyone enjoyed eating at my own house. And then वहाँ से started getting orders. पहले friends से आगे word of mouth से the word just started spreading. And at that time, even though there was Facebook, but it was not as helpful as it is right now. There was no Instagram. It was just word of mouth. And this is something that I always tell my students, that it is much easier to start a business in this day and age as it was when I started so many years ago.
Definitely.
And I don't doubt it for a second that bilkul I had a great help and I had a great encouraging supportive family, which is of course the most important. But one thing that really helped was that if your product is good, if you are honest in what you're doing, no matter what, once people start trying it out, they will keep on coming back for more. So but
and food I think is not one of those things, just you bought it once, so furniture hai to ghar mein aa gaya hai, you're not going to replace this for food. Everybody's like, even through quarantine, food businesses were probably still doing better than others, even though a lot of people suffered. But I think food businesses still were doing a lot better than
home-based food businesses were doing really well
really
during
well,
this time. But as far as the restaurants were concerned,
Restaurants business, yeah, that definitely suffered.
yeah,
Obviously overheads zyada the, you know,
bilkul.
and people were more careful. They didn't want to go to restaurants, yet they were okay with ordering from home, you
Yeah,
know. ये वो एक hygiene factor बस mentally एक होता है, नहीं तो I mean
bilkul.
people could be sick anywhere, but वो एक, I think
Exactly.
that's how we felt comfortable. So I think food business is, I mean, it, especially in Pakistan, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a good industry to be in,
No, no,
because we're still a
absolutely.
developing sort of a, you know, industry उस time पे.
And you know, Sarah, the best thing is that this is something that I share with my students as well. Early on, when I started off my culinary school, I'll just get to that as well. I had this student come to my cooking classes, and she told me about how she had, and I have students coming from all different walks of life. And she told me that she had been saving up from her monthly pocket money for the class, and she joined the course, and she told me how excited she was, but she was extremely shy, extremely quiet, and told me she belonged to an extremely conservative family and was not allowed to work. So after taking the classes, during my baking classes, I give a lesson on how to start your business, how to do costing, how to do your marketing, all. So I remember that I met her about 3 months later. She came for another course, and she was a different person, and that was the most satisfying feeling, Sarah. Like, I don't have words to explain how amazing that feeling was. She came to me and she said कि मुझे मेरा मंथ के अंदर प्रॉफिट 5,000 रुपए होता है, लेकिन वो 5,000 रुपीज मेरे लिए 5 मिलियन होगा, क्योंकि जो मेरे अंदर एक कॉन्फिडेंस, और कि वो मेरे अपने पैसे हैं, कि वो मैं अपनी मेहनत से मैंने कमाए हैं, और उसका मैंने जो करना है, मैंने जिस तरह स्पेंड करना है, मैं उस तरह कर सकती हूँ. एंड आई जस्ट फेल्ट लाइक कि स्पेशली इन अ कंट्री लाइक पाकिस्तान, this is such a great business to get into, because you can do it from the comfort of your home.
Exactly. And we,
Yeah.
as a nation, are not, you know, अभी बहुत सारे rules और regulations develop हो रहे हैं. But like a lot of countries, you need licenses to even work from home.
Absolutely.
अभी यहाँ पर,
Absolutely.
luckily for all people working from home, you don't need those licenses. So I mean,
Bilkul, exactly.
why not get into this, right?
Bilkul, bilkul. And you know, a lot of people say कि अच्छा उसके हाथ में जायका है, या उसके हाथ में टेस्ट है. To a certain extent, I'm sure that's true. But as far as baking is concerned, especially,
No,
I don't think that's true
I
at
don't
all.
think so. Huh?
Because it is a science. It is only about the accuracy of ingredients,
The
about following
measurements, yeah.
the team. Bilkul. And yes, absolutely, you need a lot of practice, you need a lot of patience. And I always discuss the 3 P's of baking in my baking class, which is precision, practice, and patience. And these 3 things, if you have a good control over these 3 things, there is no way that you're not going to be a good baker. So this is something that I genuinely think that as far as baking is concerned, ये जायके शायके की चीज का कोई sense नहीं बनता. And those of you who are watching right now as well, my dear students who are watching know this as well, that I always tell them that baking is a science, and I really encourage all my students to start their business. Tanya has asked, what is my all-time favorite thing to bake? If I'm absolutely honest with you, I just like making just delicious chocolate chip cookies, and I can literally have like 20 cookies in a go. And I have a very big sweet tooth, so much so that like I'm not allowed to have so much sugar, but still I have zero control over it. If I have like a full cake in front of me, especially if it's a small, I'm going to polish it off in one sitting. And I'm sorry, another
Muneeze,
question.
Zuria here is
Yeah.
saying that, you know, you're absolutely amazing at desi cooking as well.
Well, Zuria is so kind. And as I said, Zuria is one of my oldest students, and she's just absolutely wonderful. And she's more of a friend now. And but yes, I enjoy making desi food a lot as well. And a lot of the recipes that I teach in my classes have been taught to me by my dad, and which is why maybe they think that they're really good, because he is an excellent cook as well. Her
I said
famous
that's
treat.
really fun. I mean, you know, having a family which bonds over food, I think that's the sweetest bonding of all. Because
Absolutely.
when you eat together, you enjoy it. When you cook together, you enjoy it. when you're traveling together, you're eating, you're sharing reviews. I think I always feel like families who enjoy to eat are more bonded somehow. I That's
Yes,
something I've
happier
seen.
for sure. I think absolutely food really brings everyone together. And, this is something that I do genuinely believe. It is definitely a point of conversation for so many people as well, discussing what was cooked today in the house, how to plan the menu, all of that. So I think that absolutely, I agree with you that food is a great bonding point for so many different families. And, the thing is that I also genuinely believe that, and I'm not saying this, I know this might be a very typical thing to say, but not just women, but I think every single person should know how to cook. And this
Definitely.
is a
And
skill
especially in the
that
time that
everyone
we're
should.
going in now. वो
Absolutely.
times ही नहीं है कि the woman of the house has to cook and the men will not touch
Bilkul.
the no, that's so old school. And I think
No, no.
men enjoy it as much as women do. If you
Bilkul.
have the interest, तो फिर why not?
And Sarah, my husband as well, during this quarantine period, has made the most amazing desi food. And like, I am so incredibly impressed by his cooking skills. And he makes the most delicious chicken tikkas that you must try. I'm going to send them over to you because they are
I
absolutely
would
delicious.
love to feast on chicken tikkas.
Done, done. And I swear they're like none of, like, you don't get them at any other restaurant that way. They're so moist and tender and full of
Okay,
masala. Super delicious.
Yasir's watching, so he's very happy he's getting the chicken tikkas. He said yes.
अच्छा चलें ग्रेट यार भाई एक्सीलेंट ठीक है बिल्कुल ठीक है
अच्छा, Muneeze, tell me then, so the इसी तरह catering आ गई in the middle, and then how did it eventually, you were going around the world taking short culinary courses also, brushing up your skills, जहाँ मौका मिला थोड़ा सा और कर लिया, and then
बिल्कुल
when was the point that you decided that you wanted to go for a culinary school, open it up, what about the restaurant, what about that?
So, Sarah, basically, I got accepted into Le Cordon Bleu when I was about 19 years or 18 years old. And this was their location in California. And I remember my mom was sick at the time, and I had a choice between going. My parents did not stop me. But I chose to stay back home. मेरा US का student visa लग गया हुआ था, सब कुछ हो गया हुआ था. But I didn't think that I would be able to consciously be
Concentrate also, yeah.
bilkul, bilkul, bilkul. So I decided to stay back. So primarily I am self-taught, and everything that I've learned has been by hit and miss trial. And it's just a lot of practice. So that is one thing. But eventually, like as I said, whenever we would go for summer vacations as a family, so like कोई भी 2-day course होता था या 3-day course होता था, वो मैं जरूर ले लेती थी. Cookery school हो जाए, l'atelier de chefs हो जाए, then a slightly more formal training of like 2 weeks के course हो जाए, तो वो I took from PME for sugar flowers. So very specific things that I wanted to learn. As far as cooking itself is concerned, I did not take courses as such, and baking के अंदर भी I took the longest course I took was from ICCA, which was for almost 3.5 months in Dubai, and that was primarily in patisserie and bread making. So that was the longest course that I took. But apart from that, any course that I took was for like 2 days, 3 days maximum. And then the PME one that I took a couple of years back was the lengthier one. And Le Cordon Bleu से मैंने फिर छोटे short 2 to 3 day किए. So इस बात के ऊपर मैं जरूर कहूँगी कि I don't 100% feel that you need absolute formal training to work in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Maybe yes, in somewhere else in the world, as far as, but if you really think about it, some of the best chefs in the world are self-taught.
Yeah.
And or they have learned by working in restaurants, starting as a dishwasher and then progressing.
Exactly, and then they work their way up.
Absolutely. So, because one thing to keep in mind is that culinary schools that are, abroad are incredibly expensive. you don't really get scholarships for them because it is more of like a very specific vocational sort of a school. So you don't really get like great scholarships for it either, other than something like the James Beard Scholarship, which again is preferred to be given to international students, like the students who live in the same country,
Residents.
like the
Yeah.
US. Bilkul. So I personally don't think that you need to, if you're working in Pakistan specifically, and you're catering to this market, you don't need to take like a super professional course, like something with knife skills and all of that. But yes, I do feel like if you are fond of cooking, if you are fond of baking, you should keep on looking out for menus that give a variety of different dishes rather than a skill based course. That is something that I feel benefits my students more, that I curate a menu with appetizers, main courses, desserts, salads, all of that. So that helps them. For those of those students who are not working professionally, it's a great way to have like a set menu. कोई dinner host करना है, कुछ host करना है, एक set menu है कि ये सब चीजें मैंने बनानी है. हमारा एक जो कोर्स होता है उसके अंदर 16 डिशेस, 14 to 16 डिशेस सिखाई जाती हैं, जिसके अंदर appetite, and this entire amount for my online classes is just 8,000 rupees, and for my regular classes it is between 12 to 14,000. So in this amount you're learning a variety of dishes, and from that one dish my students will also tell you, I tell them, okay, how you can alternate this and make this out of this dish. So rather than 14, 15, you're actually getting much more out of this. And then at the end of the course I also teach a complimentary recipe. So it's a great package in that sense, that in a country like Pakistan, I think that works more. That people know that if they're starting a business and they learn specific dishes, they take 2-3 courses, they have like a really vast menu, all just like that. So, and I really encourage my students, and that's something that I feel my students also really appreciate as well. That I genuinely really want my students to actually take this up professionally. And I always tell them that after you've done enough practice, you must take this up professionally, because it is a great business to be in, and it is a great thing to have some sort of an income of your own.
Definitely. So Muneeze, like how did you end up, like, so the school started and you got busy, and now mashallah you're a mommy. So how are you balancing the school, the restaurant, maybe I think you're helping out over there as well, and the baby, and the like life must be a whirlpool right now.
Well, again, I will say that I have super supportive mom-in-law who takes care of my baby when I'm gone. So she's amazing. So she always takes care of my baby if I'm at work. So I don't have to stress about that, and that is the biggest blessing for me.
And I think the safest way, I mean, guilt-free, you can actually work. Because it's not like babies with the maid or the helper. You're constantly scared.
Bilkul, absolutely. And I also have to give credit. I have Allah ka shukr hai, have good help as well. And from Sarah, I'm sorry I didn't answer your previous question. From my classes, when I came back and I would take short courses, the reason for opening my own space was something completely crazy. I used to do my classes from my home, and before that I would give them at my friends' houses. And I got a notice from DHA that घर पे आप लोग काम नहीं कर सकते, and because बहुत रश लग जाता था बाहर हमारी लेन के अंदर,
पार्किंग में
तो मतलब मजबूरी मैंने के अंदर जगह अपनी खोली थी. And वही बात है ना, God works in mysterious ways, and it was such a blessing in disguise. At that time I was just like, oh my God, how, because I and this is something I share with my students as well, I was so bad at saving money. Whatever I would make, I would spend on stupid things. And so when the time came for me to shift and open a place, I had nothing. And one thing that I swear this is the absolute truth. And then I remember that when I had to look for a place, obviously when you rent out a place, you need to give advance and a deposit and falana dhimkana. So I was so overwhelmed कि पता नहीं ये कैसे होगा. And यकीन करो सारा, यहाँ पे जब मैंने वो जगह ली थी, I did not have enough to give them the advance and everything. And I remember like my dad said कि तुम मेरे से ले लो. And I said to him that ठीक है, अगर मैं आपसे लूंगी मैं आपको पूरे पैसे वापस करूंगी इतने टाइम के अंदर. And मुझे याद है कि that at that time it was 220 or 2,20,000 some amount like that that I had borrowed from him. जब मैंने जगह के अंदर शिफ्ट किया तो वो एक बिल्कुल एक खाली सी जगह स्पेस थी. तो आप यकीन करो कि मैंने मेरा संडे टाइम्स के अंदर आई वुड वीकली पुट एन एड ओवर देयर. मेरा एड आया फॉर माय कुकिंग क्लासेस एंड अल्लाह के करम से आई स्टार्टेड गेटिंग सो मेनी कॉल्स कि जो रजिस्ट्रेशन के मुझे पैसे आए ना, उन पैसों से मैंने जाके टेबल खरीदा, कमरे को सेट किया बिफोर माय स्टूडेंट्स की जो डेट था. And I tell this story because I think everyone needs to know that
this is inspirational, you know. Okay, it's not like you can't do it yourself. You can definitely do it yourself.
बिल्कुल, absolutely. And I used to pray every day कि या अल्लाह बस किसी तरह ये मैनेज हो जाए. और एक कमरे से कंप्लीट हुआ, फिर मैंने अपना दूसरा कमरा किया और एक एक करके तो इतने मैंने उस छोटी सी जगह के अंदर अपना I put in my heart and soul. And I remember, Sarah, that I did not have enough for a generator is a huge investment, and I had to have the air conditioning on it and everything. And I remember that
and overheads recipe like electricity bill, whatnot.
And I remember with the generator specifically, someone we knew was in this business, and I said, and they would give them on interest. So this is something that I just didn't want to. I did not want to pay interest. So I convinced them that नहीं, मैं आपके पूरे जितने का है ना, मैं उतना ही per month आपको pay करूँगी. और ये 7 lakhs का था, मुझे याद है, मैं इतने time के अंदर आपको 7 months में कर दूँगी. Because वो जानने वाले थे, उन्होंने कहा ठीक है. और यकीन करो सारा, when God wants to help you and when you're literally when you're working hard and you're focused and you have good intentions, things do work out. And genuinely मैं तो कभी कभी जब मैं सोचती हूँ I get so overwhelmed कि जो चीज मैंने सोचा था कि 7 महीने में I will pay off, whether it was my dad or whether it was the generator, within the first 3 months of opening the place I was able to get rid of all those loans. And this is what I that when I tell my students this story, that you guys can genuinely, if you put your mind to it and if you are genuinely passionate about anything, you can really work hard, pray to God, and you will be able to achieve what you really want.
Definitely.
And now to sorry, with my baby who's 8 months old and she is the love of my life. I'm absolutely obsessed with her. I hope to be a good role model for her as well. And I'm very blessed and very lucky to have a really good support system, whether it is my 2 best friends, whether it is my family, and it's just something that I'm super, super grateful for. And having such amazing students who are so sweet to be commenting and making me work harder.
A beautiful stream of constantly positive comments going on that speaks so much about the kind of person you are, the kind of teacher you are. And I just feel so proud at this moment that everything is so, everybody's writing such beautiful notes, such beautiful things about you, that it's amazing. And I'm sure so many of your students are actually a lot older to you, because you started off as a very little girl, like a little teenager. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of your students are older than you.
Yes. Even मेरा जो ऑफिस के अंदर जब क्लासेस होती थी when they were not online स्टूडियो में, तो वो एक स्टूडेंट फॉर्म है जो आपने अपनी बर्थडे उसमें डालनी है, because we like to wish our students. तो वो बर्थडे जो है ना, किसी ने अपनी लिखी, and there was this auntie, she still comes to my class, and she said to me, मैं अपना year नहीं लिखूंगी क्योंकि जब से पाकिस्तान है ना, तब से मैं इधर हूँ. तो मुझे इतना मैं इतनी खुश होती थी to come, and mashallah se she would come on her stick and she would sit and she would even in the practical lessons she would be so she would be so interested and she would actively be such a great part of it. So and it's such a humbling thing, I swear, Sarah, ki when you see students from so many different age brackets, backgrounds, and they're coming and they're putting their confidence in me and they're trusting me to teach them, there is no possible way for me not to be honest in what I do then.
Acha, Muneeze, this is one thing, like this is a personal comment. I feel, you are one of the very few people that I've seen who've made it big. Mashallah. Let me just write
Sorry.
some. Okay,
I
here.
just, yeah.
No problem. So I said
Yeah.
that this is personal comment from my end for you. I feel like there are so many people who've made it so big, and for me, I think what you've done is making it really big, mashallah. And I feel despite, doing it at an early age, what usually happens is कि अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा ओवर अचीवर बन जाओ और वो भी छोटी एज में, तो आप दिमाग से थोड़े आउट हो जाते हैं, and you are, you not, you may turn snobbish, you think acha bas I'm such a godly figure now. But with you, I have had such a different experience. Like, mashallah, you're so down to earth, you're so sweet, you're so grounded. And I think this is one of the most beautiful qualities I've seen, in, as a chef, as a teacher, as a friend, as a person. Like, I've seen you in so many different roles. So I personally feel that staying grounded maybe is one thing that really takes you forward.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That really, really means a lot. And I'm so grateful that you think that way. I'm a super emotional person, so I'm going to get very emotional after hearing this. But nahin, I swear, I think it's just that you need to remind yourself that you should never forget your struggle. That's one thing that keeps you grounded. And then you should always remember, and this is something again I speak to my students about, that ये जो भी सक्सेस थोड़ा बहुत जिसको सक्सेस कहते हैं, जो भी जैसे आया वो एक सेकंड में जा भी सकता है. So if you keep that in mind, and you see there's so many examples around us regarding this as well, that if you let it get to your head, एक सेकंड के लगता है ये फेम, ये नाम, ये सब कुछ खत्म होने में. So ये कभी भूलना नहीं चाहिए. और एक तो ये चीज़ है, और दूसरी चीज़ ये है, एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई आल्सो बिलीव, बिकॉज ये मेरे स्टूडेंट्स मुझे हमेशा कहते हैं कि आप अपनी पूरी रेसिपी दे देती हैं. अब देखिए, द रीज़न वाई एक ही स्टूडेंट एक नहीं 10 कोर्स लेंगे, वो इसीलिए लेंगे क्योंकि मैं ऑनेस्टली पूरी रेसिपी शेयर करूंगी. वरना अगर उनका घर जाके वो एक्सपीरियंस वैसा उस तरह रिजल्ट नहीं आता, तो वो क्यों फिर से आएंगे, क्यों अपने हार्ड एंड से स्पेंड करेंगे. सो आई ऑल्सो, और मुझे कहते हैं कि आपका बिजनेस है तो आप क्यों ये ऑनेस्टली पूरी की पूरी रेसिपी दे देते हैं. एंड आई जेन्युइनली बिलीव दिस. सबसे पहले तो दिस इज, आई नो that whenever the time comes and I'm gone, I know that my everyone who has shared this recipe forward, their kids, their family, they will always remember. And एक तरह का सदका जारिया ये मेरे लिए. And then the second thing for me is that ये जो अल्लाह ताला ने has written कि okay, this is what I'm going to get, ये मेरा रिस्क है. मुझे पता है कि no matter what I do, कि जो अगर वो लिखा है तो मुझे वो ही मिलना है. तो अगर मैं ये समझूंगी कि मैं ओवर क्लेवर हूँ और कुछ छुपा लूँ इंग्रेडिएंट्स और कुछ ना बताऊँ, उससे मेरा कुछ ज्यादा हो जाएगा. नहीं, ये I don't think
and that I think that also speaks of the chef and the baker and the person behind all those recipes as well. क्योंकि आपने 2 recipes share कर दी, आप 10 और बना सकते हो. You have the skill set. You can, and even I'm sure so many of the people who are watching with us, who are into culinary side of the profession, baking में है या cooking में है, जिसमें इंटरेस्ट है. आई फील पर्सनली ऑल्सो लाइक अगर आपने 5-10 चीजें सीख ली हैं एंड यू रियली पैशनेट अबाउट दिस फील्ड, आई थिंक यू कैन एक्चुअली कम अप विद सो मच मोर योरसेल्फ. तो वो 1-2 रेसिपी शेयर करने से डजंट रियली मेक अ डिफरेंस.
और अगर उन 1-2 रेसिपी से किसी का सिस्टम चल रहा है, मेरी एक स्टूडेंट है जिन्होंने मेरी क्लास ली, उन्होंने जिंगर बर्गर सीखे मेरी क्लास में, माशाल्लाह से. शी लिव्स इन बेरिया टाउन एंड शी इज रनिंग अ वेरी सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस ऑन जिंगर बर्गर्स,
and so how proud must you be, when you find out about all your students doing so well.
I'm so incredibly, Shafaq Appa is also watching. I just saw Gul Shahid is also watching. So I'm so incredibly proud of my students because it is so amazing that, or that's the reason I push them. मेरी recipes मैं सिखा के क्यों कहूँगी कि आप आगे करो. This is what I want people to understand. ये किसी को सिखाने से आपका कुछ कम नहीं होगा. किसी का अगर बढ़ेगा ना, उसका in one way or the other, that's going to benefit you. And this is something that I really I can't tell you how proud I am. There's so many of my students who started stocking their desserts at Dessert Directory. There's so many of my students who have started their online pages and are doing so well for themselves. They put up their posts on Foodies Are Us, this and that. Like it's such a great thing to see. And मुझे इतनी खुशी होती है इस बात की कि ये वही स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो आते हैं और कहते हैं कि हमें नहीं पता कि अगर ये हम कर पाएंगे. And जब when I see that they are confident enough to start it as a business, it is such a satisfying feeling. And I think that is one thing that a lot of people come and ask me कि आप अपना restaurant, अपनी bakery क्यों नहीं अभी तक आपने खोली? And this is one of the reasons. And this is something I'm honestly telling you, Sarah, that my genuine, true passion is teaching. And that is something that I enjoy the most. And I don't think that anything else is more rewarding as teaching is. So this is why maybe, yes, one day down the line, I might just open something. But for now, I'm truly content. And God has been kind. And I love my students who are sending such...
That's such an amazing thing to say. Acha, somebody asked, I think the name was Khatija. She's saying, can you please save this video? So Khadija, this video is going to be saved on my IGTV, on my page, also on my YouTube channel, as well as my Facebook page. So you can watch it, you can share it, you can watch it again and again, and you can keep getting inspired by all that Muneeze has to say. Okay, Muneeze, let's get into a little fun part of the session. So tell me the top 5 ingredients that you love to work with.
Salt, my favorite ingredient. The simplest ingredient, but it is the most essential ingredient. Namak ke baghair, nothing will taste good. Okay? So, and this does not just apply to your savory dishes. You need a little bit of salt in your sweet as well to enhance the flavor.
Yeah.
So namak is the salt is my favorite ingredient. The chocolate is my second favorite ingredient. Absolutely, I'm a sweet tooth. I have a big sweet tooth. I absolutely love using balsamic vinegar in a lot of my recipes. I do enjoy adding it, and tomorrow the recipe I'm teaching in my class is something to do with it as well. Apart from that, if your top 5 is very difficult to come down to 5 best ingredients, butter. I use a lot of butter. All my recipes, all my students, I'm
what
very,
is a
very
baker
bad
without butter?
Oh, and Sarah, I am so bad at making like low fat, low food. I like even the diets that I do is carbs and then healthy fats. Because I feel like without healthy fats, even you can't make delicious food.
Exactly.
So butter, even though it's not a very healthy fat, but still I love using butter. And so that's 4. I think up to 4 ho gaye hain. And let me think. I'm not going to go for any like fancy ingredient like truffle and falana dhimkana because I feel
truffle oil is one of my favorite ingredients. So मैं ज़रूर बोलती हूँ.
ठीक है. अगर मैं अपने students के उस तौर पे देखूं कि जो चीज़ों में I try to teach things with like readily available ingredients like alfata and maximum उस तरह के तो ईसा जी से कुछ ना कुछ ले लिया so that everyone can make it at home. But I love incorporating feta cheese, like feta cheese or any type of cheese for that instance. Like the more the cheese, the better the dish.
Cheese is like so versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an amazing ingredient to work with. So,
and
Muneeze, tell me, what is your one top favorite? Like if you had to pick one kitchen utensil, what would you pick?
A spatula. I don't even have to think about it. Yeah. I don't even have to think about it. Spatula is like my go-to.
A lifesaver.
Lifesaver, absolutely. And I tell everyone you need to have a spatula. Please don't waste it.
Yes. I remember. Okay, Ifra is here. Hi, Ifra. मुझे वो याद आ रहा है, you know, going back to Mrs. Cross's food and nutrition classes, and उस time पे पता चला था कि oh my God, spatula के बगैर, you know, like I came home and I told my mom, do you know how much food you waste? And she's like, hey, what? And I'm like, you never had a spatula in the house. Do you know how much food you wasted all your life? Because
exactly.
I can't be in the kitchen without a spatula.
Absolutely. See, I swear it's something that's like a no-brainer for me. I know there's lots of other
Yeah.
tools that are obviously very important, but for me, this is something that I cook using, like, rather than using a wooden spoon, I use my like my silicone spatula. I use it when I have to scrape anything out,
Yeah.
anything of the sort. My sister Alize Madam is saying your butter chicken roast, and then uh, sending me a cow smiley, the cow emoji, because I like when if the butter chicken roast is in front of us, both of us are going to pig out on it and just
Please invite me next time. I'm coming for the butter
absolutely.
chicken roast.
Absolutely.
Acha,
For sure.
somebody has asked this, I think, twice or thrice. Is Swiss meringue buttercream safe to eat?
Well, absolutely it is, because the thing is that you're cooking the meringue over a double boiler, so you don't need to worry about it too much. So yes, of course, Pakistan ke andar you're not getting like the pasteurized egg
Yeah.
whites, usta karke, but
Acha, by the
as
way,
far
I also saw those at this new store in in Lahore, Sheffield Tea के नाम से, and they
बिल्कुल
had
बिल्कुल
those. So
oh,
like ये
excellent
भी बड़े मजे की बात है कि a lot of those things are coming in now. जो
बिल्कुल
हमें बाहर से उठा उठा के ingredients आते थे ना, so that's
बिल्कुल
very nice.
एंड यू नो सारा, हमारी जो बेकिंग की क्लास होती है ना, उसमें एक पेज हम देते हैं हमारी जो अपनी पर्सनल वेंडर लिस्ट है, और जो इक्विपमेंट और बेकिंग सप्लाईज जो हम रेकमेंड करते हैं, और जो वेंडर लिस्ट है उसमें एग्जैक्टली द स्टोर दैट यू मेंशन्ड इज अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. वी गेट आवर चॉकलेट फ्रॉम देयर एज वेल.
Yeah, they have the
आई एम श्योर
best
यू एज वेल.
chocolates. Wow. Yeah.
एग्जैक्टली.
अच्छा Muneeze,
सो
sorry, you were saying something.
नहीं नहीं, आप बताओ आप बताओ.
नहीं, you go on, go on.
यही बता रही थी कि चॉकलेट वहाँ पे के अलावा भी बड़े मजे की चीजें वहाँ पे मिल जाती हैं.
नहीं, you were answering somebody जो पूछ रहे थे, is it safe to eat or not?
जी बिल्कुल. So yes, so if you're cooking it on the double boiler and you're basically cooking it over like simmering heat, जो आपके पानी simmer कर रहा होगा उसके ऊपर आप पका रहे होगे, so to a certain extent your egg whites will be cooked. Yes, I'm not going to say that they're going to be 100% cooked, but it's not like having chocolate mousse, so there is a difference. So
And also, guys, the eggs cook at a very, very low temperature also. So don't think that it's completely kacha unless it's like deep, omelette ki tarah hard.
And I'm not telling you to make your little babies have it. So if you're having it, you're in a diet.
Yeah, exactly. Kuch nahi hoga. I don't know. Thank you everybody who's saying such beautiful things. You're all beautiful people yourself, which is why you're finding us beautiful. अच्छा, कोई किसी ने कोई ब्यूटी टिप्स मांगी है मुनीज़े? Do you also give out beauty tips? ये मुझे समझ नहीं आई कि ये क्यों आया है क्वेश्चन.
ये मैंने मैसेज बिल्कुल पढ़ा है कि beauty tips, I don't have any beauty tips whatsoever.
She has inner beauty tips because mashallah she's the most beautiful person I have met.
That's so sweet of you. This is making me super awkward, as you can see. But just put makeup on and everything will be fine.
Everything is fine. You know what I did, guys? I sent Muneeze a picture of me an hour before this live session, and I had like all acne on my face and balu mein bomb phata hua, and I said, "Now you see my transformation in 1 hour." You know,
I'm not getting up right now because I'm wearing my Minnie Mouse pajamas underneath this kurta. So I'm not going to be getting up. And I've very strategically placed this phone,
so
making sure.
This is natural beauty. Learn to embrace it. Everything is beautiful.
And let's be honest, during this quarantine, we have been deprived of the beauty salons. So
there's not a lot we could do. So, okay, somebody, Zainab, so this I mentioned earlier also, this session will be recorded. It will be saved on my page as IGTV, on the on the Facebook, as well as my YouTube channel. Yeah, are we back? Yes, we're back.
We are back.
Okay, great. So it'll be online. It'll be on my Instagram, on my Facebook, on my YouTube. You guys can watch it, get inspired again, and you can share it as well. So hello everybody who's joined in. We're just towards the end of this session. I think this is by far the most fun I've had because and the sweetest session I've had, and I think the most down to earth person that I've had on my show. I mean, regardless, I've had so many amazing people. I'm not saying koi bhi us tarah nahi tha, but with Muneeze, it's like a whole different thing. She inspires me because she began so young, mashallah, mashallah. She's younger to me. She's done so well for herself, and she never let this get to her head. So I just feel like she is in. She's like literally following her mom's footsteps. So is Shazria, by the way, her sister, who's
Yes,
also mashallah doing so well.
yes.
Sorry, Alize, I'm not gonna take your name because I don't know you.
But incredibly so, like, I will tell you guys one little thing about us three sisters. If I love both my sisters to bits, and I would not be who I am without them. They are like my life and an extension of me. And this video will be showed to me every time we have a fight now. But as far as Alize is concerned, she the as far as अगर हम तीनों को उस तरह देखा जाए, I have like a crazy I'm crazily stubborn, and I can be very angry in a split second. You will be very surprised. Shazri has her fair share of qualities as well, but Alize is one person who is like I think an angel, and she is just the most wonderful human being. And I tell this to all my students, the way she cares for people around her, I don't think there is any comparison to that with any of us. And then as well as her work ethic, which is so incredible. Whenever she's staying with me, she's working at Telenor, and she's doing really well over there, and she lives in Islamabad. So even while she was staying with me, वो जिस भी time पे उसको office से कोई contact करता है तो ऐसे alert okay, and she's on her laptop and working and all of that, and it's really incredible to look at, and how disciplined she is. And
I
that
think this
discipline,
discipline, this work discipline that has been passed on to all three of you is because of Auntie. I think it's because of, the fact that you saw her working so strongly while she battled everything she went through. And that was like on a complete different, that was a different department of her life completely. वो उन्होंने बिल्कुल separate रखा हुआ था. And she went on with her work like nothing had happened. And
and Sarah, like for me, like if I feel like who is the most similar in that sense, that as far as the being focused, great at her work, my elder sister Shazri, who's your dear friend as well. She is so incredibly creative. I absolutely don't understand how she can turn like a blank, like empty hall into like this work of art.
and
I'm effortlessly, and then also with a smile on her face, and then also enjoying herself. I know that if I have like a project, I go crazy कि अच्छा मेरा केक का order, and I have मेरा दिमाग खराब हो रहा होता है कि
anxiety attacks हो रही हैं, panic attacks हो रहे हैं.
इसी तरह, and she does it
And
really
Shazri,
well.
mashallah, she like keeps her calm. She's just so calm and
Yeah,
composed. Like I've never
बिल्कुल.
seen her losing it. Even when she's
And the way
even if she tells me like I lost it, तो मेरा जो maximum होता है कितना lost it कर लिया होगा ना.
कितना lost it. And the way she manages her, like Amelia, her daughter, and her work, and balances it, her family life, everything so well. It's really great. It's
Okay,
actually
now
really
Yasir has jumped in to like support his friend, and he's like, no, Ali has a role to play in that.
yes, but that is, I absolutely agree with Ali. Yasir Bhai, because my brother-in-law is um, he's like he is my older brother, because I think he's seen us grow up, like
Grow up.
we actually grown up in front of him. And yes, I agree, he is the most calm person you will ever come across. And bilkul, the one of the biggest strengths that my sister has, and a big reason behind her success as well.
Mashallah. Okay, Muneeze, now I've taken a lot of your time and we're running out now. So, just like some parting words, some words of inspiration or advice to anybody who's watching right now or will be watching later, who wants to get into this industry, whether as a chef, as a baker, who wants to start learning, what would you say to them?
Sarah, that it's very kind of you to think that I can give such great advice. But something that I would honestly say is that just if you plan on going into this work, into this field, just be honest in what you're doing. Until and unless you are 100% certain that jo cheez you're selling, you will confidently buy that for the same amount that you are pricing it at. Till then, you're not going to start. And you can't lie to yourself. So till then, you should not start doing it professionally. So
That
you
is an
have to,
amazing tip. That's an amazing tip.
because you will see that a lot of people will start and then you will not hear about them. That's because they started on too early. And then in a country like Pakistan, we are so passionate about our food that we don't give second chances so easily.
Yeah.
So you should be good at what you do. So give yourself some time, practice a lot, make a small menu, and then you start your business. And apart from that, staying focused and is something that is difficult, but if you're absolutely passionate about what you're doing, it will never feel like work.
Thank you so much, Muneeze. I had such a wonderful time, and I'm sure all these people who joined in, who joined midway, who joined in the end, and who will be watching later are going to learn a thing or two for sure. There's so many things I picked up from this. वो जो कहते हैं ना कि like I'm constantly saying you're younger to me, but you know I just feel so proud that you've made it so far. Mashallah, and may you continue to soar with this heart of yours, with this passion driven soul that you have. I'm sure you're gonna go skyrocketing high. So
Thank
with
you.
lots of love and lots of prayers your way. Thank you to everybody who's joined in. There's so many questions, but I'm sorry we cannot answer all of them. If you want to register for Muneeze's classes, please register, contact on her official page. I will tag her in the IGTV. It'll be saved for those of you who are joining now. So you can go over it later and feel free to message on her official page and about the classes, about registrations. There's a lot of questions here. So I'm sure somebody will get back to you as soon as possible.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had such a wonderful time. And,
likewise.
पता ही नहीं चला कि घंटे से भी ऊपर हो गया.
बहुत मजा आया. I loved having you. We'll do this again later soon.
For sure. Thank you so much, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Hafiz.